following is a production of Dirty Mo Media.
Hey guys, welcome to Action's Detrimental. I don't know, probably episode 40 this year. Is that about right?
I think so. We didn't have any surprise episodes this year. 40.
Might be 39. Jared and I had to do one.
You did?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah,
episode.
that's right.
That's
the lost episode.
no one that never came across anyone's feed.
No. I remember Tyler asked me about that. He's like, did you guys record a podcast this week? I was like, yeah, Travis and I did it. He's like, oh, I didn't hear that one. I was like, it's okay.
It's probably for the best.
The lost episode.
Yeah.
Can we feed that to the people during the off season as dig it back out of the files and put it back out
no,
there?
it truly aired.
It's in the feed.
It's there.
There's just no video attached to it.
It's us recap. It's us like.
Is there no video?
No, there wasn't video, right, Travis?
Correct.
Yeah, it was that.
Oh my gosh, y'all half-assed it?
At least we did an episode that week. What were you doing? Hanging out with your newborn?
Something like that. All right. What's the date today?
The 14th.
February 14th.
February 14th.
No, November 14th.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not move the offseason that fast.
November 14th. What do y'all want to talk about?
Your birthday's coming up. What'd you ask for this year?
Peace.
Peace. World peace or just personal peace?
Personal peace. Personal peace. This has been quite the year. I'm so looking forward to January 1st. Just because, obviously this year was just, I'm on track, off track, ownership, new baby, dad, race for a championship, lawsuit. It just was, it was taxing for sure. I don't think I could redo 2025 again.
Really?
No way.
But you had so much success at the same time.
Yeah, but that all, I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing damage to in my internals that I don't know about. Does that make any sense? Like, you can't just have all the stress in it not eventually take a toll, right?
Sure. And you left out basketball. You picked up a new hobby.
Yeah, I try to fit that in whenever I can. Last night I tried to sneak out. Where was it? I was somewhere, got home by 4:30, and I'm like, I got an hour of daylight left. Let me just go out there and just get the boat out and just basically just troll around. Fishing's hard this time of year. Obviously, the fish are very finicky.
Does that help you just kind of get away from, or for me, that's where my thoughts would be the worst, is out fishing.
No, it's better because that's kind of the only thing that I'm really focused on at the moment, because you're trying to figure out this riddle of where are they, what do they want, what time of day is it windy, is it not, what's the temperature, what's the depth, all those things to try to figure out the right way of getting them on the boat. And I've been hot lately. So, I don't know. It's just a tough year overall. Definitely couldn't do it again. Which was, I think that certainly the, the feeling post-race and the days after, that's why it's like, oh, I just went through so much time preparing for this one race and changing how I am going to approach the track and drive the track. And okay, I'm going to drive differently. Now I got to train myself to drive differently because this is what I think the track wants. Just all these small things. And obviously it was all going to pan out right till it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, you said you said in a recent interview that you knew what it felt like to be a champion with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing is that I think that the fans have helped with that quite a bit. I mean, I have seen your messages and whatnot, and I really, really do appreciate the fans, being so supportive. And, some of it is them, combating formats and things like that. And this was just a really good excuse to rehash the disdain for formats and whatnot. This wasn't a format issue. This was an entertainment issue. I think about, this this was my 20th year trying to win a championship. It didn't happen. Dale Earnhardt took him 20 years to win his very first and only Daytona 500. But we race in a different time than when Dale Earnhardt won his Daytona 500. That race didn't have a green-white checkered. Dale Earnhardt likely would have never won a Daytona 500 had we had green-white checkers. And, back then when you had an event and it was 500 miles, it was 500 miles, right? It wasn't 513 or whatever it turned out to be. But, that's nor here nor there. And just as a sport, obviously, we over the last 15 years, we really took a jump towards entertainment. I think it did take its toll on some of the race fans and some of the purists of the sport over time. And then the latest is the format, right? That's the thing that the fans are latest. Their gripe is latest with NASCAR. So yeah, it was just kind of all combination of all those things that I think left most fans feeling like I felt, where it was just, it was, I think what they saw didn't feel right. It certainly didn't feel right to me. My job out there and given the format was to go out there and race your best in this one race, and that's going to make you a champion. That's what they wanted it to come down to, was one race, and you got to perform your best during that race. And for 312 laps, which is the race distance, not one time was that 5 out in front of me. Unfortunately, he was on lap like 315,
and for 208
which
of
was
them,
that
nobody
was that was the shock to me, is that when I'm in the car, I can feel what I've got, how much I've got left, what when I'm pushing it, when I'm not, and then and so I knew that right from the get-go we were strong. Now, given the first run, I was like, man, we're struggling with a little long run speed here. But we fixed that on the first pit stop, and after that, I thought it was, over on speed. Obviously, that's way more to it than actual speed, as we come to find out. So my car was really good. And even when we got back, we had the left side tire that went down under caution. I think we fell back to about 10th on that pit stop. The team did an amazing job with like the 2 jacks, and Joel did a great job. Only losing those 10 spots. But even still, we were able to kind of cut right back through there and get towards the front. So felt really good about it. And really, not to bounce around too much, but even in the green-white checkered, I thought I was fine. In the sense of when I went off of turn 2, let me think now. Gosh, it's hard to, when you do this almost 2 weeks later, it's different. I remember them saying, all I remember hearing the spotter say is that your 3 wide bottom and the 5 is stuck up top. Mm-hmm. I thought he was the 3rd car on the outside of me. And so when I go into turn 3 and I clear whoever those cars are, I thought that was it. I thought I was past him at that point. It's not till we crossed the white and the cars fanned out under the white flag, and we went to the dog leg, and the cars fanned out to where you could see them all, and I saw the 5. That was I'm not kidding, and I'm not overstating when that was the first time I saw him all day. Not one other lap was he in front of us, and I saw him right there with 3/4 of a mile to go, and I knew at that point, oh my God, it's over. Like, at that point, I knew that he had won, we had lost. Because, A, we had crossed the white. There's no going back at that point. And then he was just too far ahead. There was too many cars between me and him, and that was it. So that was my, usually I've had other losses in championship races where I kind of, you give yourself a little time to prepare for it. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you're not fast enough that day. You're like, oh man, we really need some things to kind of break our way, or, someone passes you with 50 to go, and it's like, yeah, we're not going to win it. They're pulling away. It's over. And it's probably what the competition was thinking for the end of that race. But that was the first one where I was like, I didn't realize we had lost until 3/4 of a lap to go. And so that was the utter shock that I had to just kind of sit there with for a few minutes after the race to just figure out what in the world, what happened.
Yeah. So were you in shock? What is going through your mind? Because I know standing there, watching you inside the car after you pull on pit road, it just felt like that didn't happen. Like there's no way that happened. Like it just felt too unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, it's just very, it feels as weird as someone that is up 30-0 and then losing in overtime when the score's not tied.
Right. That this feeling I felt like doesn't happen in any other sport. You're not up 30-0 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden the referee comes over and says, "Hey, next point wins," while the other team has the ball. That's kind of what happened here. Is the 11 car dominated 312 laps of this race, and then with 1 to go. Yeah, circumstances.
It kind of in the bigger picture. Maybe there's another sport. I can't think of another, but maybe I can't think of another that penalizes the leader or the winning team more than what probably NASCAR does. And a lot of it is just for the sake of entertainment. We went down this road of, we're going to go chase more entertainment, and less on the sports side. So yeah, it is. In NASCAR, what makes it different is the fact that they penalize the leader more than any other sport, or they penalize the winning team more so than any other sport.
So what happens next? You finally get out of the car. How do you what's going through your head at that point? Crew chief's coming up. Your Jordan's coming up. Your daughters are coming up. They're in tears.
Yeah, I try to just maintain my composure just as much as I could. Especially for the kids, because they just they can't believe what they saw, and I didn't see, all I know is what Jordan told me. Molly was super upset right when we came off of pit road. She said that Molly started losing it. Why is he 10th? Mm-hmm. And so I just tried to maintain my composure as much as I could for them, to kind of teach them one of the life lessons of, you're going to face things that are not fair sometimes. And that's what I did tell them, is that this is life, and you better get used to it, that, things are not always going to happen as planned. Some things will happen to you that are going to be unfair at times, but that's sports, and that's how it goes. And we can just chalk it up to, well, that's sports, and you just got unlucky there, or maybe we made a bad call, but in the end, they didn't want to really hear any of that for sure.
Yeah, listening to you talk now, it sounds like you've come to peace with the ending of this race and how it all ended.
Well, I think the fans made it a lot easier. I mean, the competitors made it easier. I got to give so much appreciation to Kyle Larson, and how gracious he was during all this, very humble during all this, and certainly during the banquet, giving myself and my team the props that we did deserve in that final race, and he did nothing wrong. His team knew that they had to do something to try to win. That they played the game as it was meant to be played. So we definitely have a deserving champion in the 5 team. They scored more points than anyone else the entire year. There's I don't think anyone should ever question the deservingness of Kyle Larson's championship, because he definitely did. And what did I say out in the Toyota display at Phoenix when they say, like, who are you a fan of? Who did I say?
Larson.
I said I'm a fan of Larson. I just, if I were a race fan only, I certainly admire his ability behind the wheel and to do special things. And so, if I didn't win, wish it was a Toyota. Wish Chase would have got it. But obviously, Larson is one that I'm close with off the track, and have a ton of respect for. So I want to make sure that that 5 team and Larson, there is no asterisk beside this one. They played the game. They had to fight back. Went a lap down at one point. Got the lucky dog. Another entertainment quirk that got thrown in. It just, we love resetting the score, and unfortunately I was one of the ones that got hurt by the reset.
You always said, though, that one of your biggest goals in this sport was to be respected by your peers. When you left, it felt like that's what's honestly made me feel a ton better. And I talked about the competitors, obviously William Byron, saying what he said, and other competitors. I can't thank them enough for at least saying the kind words, and I do appreciate it. The fans themselves have just been overwhelmingly supportive, and there was a moment that happened in Virginia that certainly I felt like I think I did turn the corner a little bit. I actually just left that the racetrack that you saw that I posted on Instagram, and I went to a breakfast place on the way to the airport, and I don't know, I saw this guy, and I think that was probably his mother and his wife, and the 3 of them were there, and they were sitting kind of 20 feet from us, and we're in Chesterfield. We're literally probably 15 minutes from my house, but it's on the main road where I had our trailer business, Chesterfield Trailer and Hitch, and that was my hometown. So I see this guy, and as we get ready to leave, his mother's crying, and I can see her kind of looking over, and she's crying and whatnot, and he was just telling me that he's like, my son would just absolutely die to be here. He says, we were somewhere this past weekend, and I remember we told them to turn the race on, and everyone just be quiet because we want to focus on this race during this time. And he was just saying that, how happy his son was and his family was that, things were going so well. And then equally how crushed his son was in that moments right after. But then he told me like how much joy that I brought his family during that time. And so, his just very simple message to me is that, you racing brings my family joy. So, a lot of us can be really, really selfish at times and want to accomplish things for ourselves. And I think the hardest thing for me in the moment was, and I addressed all you guys after the race behind the bus, all the bros and all the family and everything. But I hated it for all of you guys. It doesn't change what I think about me, whether I have the trophy or not. I knew on that day I was better than everyone else was. My car was better than everyone else. We did what we were supposed to do. So it didn't change
my feeling of believing that I am a championship driver. I believe I'm certainly worthy of that. But it was more for everyone else. It was more for the group of guys and the friends and the family and everyone that came out. I mean, we had 3 houses worth of people just out there to celebrate, and not necessarily celebrate a win, but like the season. And then, if we won, that was great. And I just remember, back in like 2010, when I was just so serious going into that final race with Jimmy, and my friends all came to Miami during that weekend, and I didn't want to go to dinner. I didn't go to dinner with them. I didn't go out with them. Didn't do anything. I just wanted to nope, I gotta focus on this. This is what I gotta focus on. And I just raced tight at that point, and so I don't know. I mean, you guys were around me. I was loose the whole time. I'm like, we're good.
It felt like it was a race at Michigan or Pocono or any other regular season race.
You guys were just waiting to hear the download after practice. Like, you're like, all right, well, where are we at? And I'm like, what'd I say? I'm like,
at dinner, you came over and I'm like,
we're good.
So I'm like, you said 80%, and you're like, we're good.
Yeah.
And then qualifying,
that was what I was most worried about. I just in the sim itself, just couldn't hit a line in the sim and qualifying. I just didn't do. That one lap was the one that was like, if we're gonna stub our toe, it's gonna be in qualifying. Practice, you got enough laps to kind of, you make one mistake one lap, you got a bunch more to make them up, right? To get a good feel for your car and understand it. But the qualifying, you get one shot, one lap, right? And so when we got the pole there, I was like, oh, it's on now. Now it's the chances have really gotten high. And then you see the pit crew out there all hours of the night working on the pit box, and it's like, I'm looking and like, these guys are locked in, man. They're not going to leave any stone unturned. They're going to make sure they do everything they can to make sure we have a flawless race, and
they did.
And man, they did.
I've been critical of them. That final stop was the fastest 4-tire stop of the day of anybody, I believe.
Yeah, they were locked in. I mean, I skimmed through the race. I didn't watch it in its entirety yet. I don't know that I will. No particular reason, but I was in it. I lived it, so I don't have to watch the whole thing. But yeah, I was nervous for them when I would rewatch the final stop. I'm like, oh my gosh, it just hang a tire wrong, hit the jack wrong. Like, there's so many opportunities to make mistakes, and they didn't. And so, I mean, listen, those guys were in much of a shock as I was after the race. Holy cow.
Oh, the look on their face.
They were just, oh my gosh, and so it's everyone else. It's everyone else that I feel so sorry for. Me, it's fine. It is fine. I don't need the trophy. I know what we did on that day.
Have you spoken to Gale? Because I think a lot of people think he made the wrong call, and I still say I don't think he made the wrong call. It's just the wrong outcome. But have you talked to him and how he's doing? If you want to speak,
no, we haven't. Usually, but this is not unordinary. I mean, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's me, but you can ask Gabe Hart or anybody else. Like, when the season's over, I mean, I've given it all I've got. Leave me alone now. Like, this is the time I need to I don't want to have to deal with anything. Like, hey, you need me to come in and check out a new switch on the dash or something? Sure, I'll stop by one day this week and check it out, make sure it's all good. But no, this is from now till essentially January. No, I don't think I'll have a whole lot of communication.
But do you think?
But that's to give everyone time, and I don't. Chris, I think just did a great job, and the whole team did preparing preparing the car and, thinking about all the details. And even when I felt very confident and okay, team, here's how I'm going to approach the weekend. This is how I'm going to drive it. Now I'm going to need something different out of the car to drive it this specific way. I want to die on this hill. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But this is what I believe. And they just said, okay, sounds good. This is what we're going to do. And they bought in, and they just gave me everything that I needed and then some. It had been quite some time. I've had some dominant cars in next gen. I can think of like a Dover race, maybe first year of next, that was really fast. But I just, this was one that was top 3 for me on, speed relative to competition. And it was just a combination of, my approach was different, and what I needed and asked out of my car was a little different. So it worked.
And is that because of all the time you had to study?
Yeah.
And
that certainly gave me an advantage, because it didn't. I think I would have eventually gotten to all the things that I wanted to get to, but it would have been really hard to cram it all in 1 week. And if you don't cram it in 1 week, what happens is you have to go into Martinsville. Well, you got to study for that test, because there is no next test if you don't pass the Martinsville test, right? If you're not locked in. So you got to kind of give each track its certain amount of time and do. And I just was, again, never given the ability to practice for one race as much as I was for that one.
To go back to the friends and family for a moment, I feel like the community that you built this year and over the last few months felt more like a win than the championship race itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no driver with more fandom at Phoenix than Denny Hamlin in the 11 team. It was obvious.
Yeah, and I felt it, and I saw it, I felt it. I still see it and feel it on social media. So, yeah, it's gratifying for me, because all you really the cups are empty. The trophies mean nothing. There's only a few people that walk in the front door of this house. So there's only a few people that see it. It's the respect that we really ultimately seek. The two people, certainly Mark Martin was one that I always thought that the guy never won a championship, but if you don't put him in your top 10 greatest drivers of all time, you're absolutely crazy, because anybody that raced against him knew that guy was doing exceptional things. Even when he didn't have the fastest car, he made speed and won races, and just everyone knew. You asked Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace and guys with far more wins than Mark Martin, they'd say, yeah, but Mark's the toughest. Mark was the hardest to beat. So that's all that. That's why I think that Mark Martin would tell you that I'm satisfied. I'm gratified. I've won what I hoped to win, which was the respect from my peers and the respect from the fans that I am one of the greatest drivers. And I certainly got more of a personal understanding and certainly admiration for Carl Edwards here lately. Just over the last year, certainly when he went away from the sport, at that time I didn't know. I was teammates with him, but I didn't know a whole lot about Carl. We didn't have a ton of conversations, even as professional teammates. I mean, when we had to come together on Mondays, that's what we did, but it was, separate after that. But my relationship's been like that with a lot of drivers, and Martin Truex is one that I've actually had more conversation with Martin Truex since he's been gone than I was when we were teammates. It's just weird how this works.
Well, you're fishing now.
Honey holes.
And now he cares.
Yeah. But I just, if there's people always ask me all the time now, who do you admire or who do you look up to on and off the racetrack? Another driver. And for the longest time, my answer was Jimmy Johnson. Just simply, and it's still there. He's still the guy as far as my respect level for what he did on the racetrack and then who he is off the racetrack. But like Carl Edwards is shooting up that that list hard, just simply because as I've gotten to know him through interviews that we've had, we had one sit down kind of at Pocono. We've had production things where we have interactions, post race. I think it was a little bit misreported that like I called Carl after the race. That is not correct. I don't want Carl to think I'm some liar that's telling the media that for sympathy. That's untrue. We exchanged messages and we did talk, but I didn't specifically reach out to Carl. I think that was kind of a little bit of a misrepresentation. But I had some good conversations with him, and I just where I feel like he has helped me here lately, and when I say lately, I'm talking about over the last year, would be understanding the bigger picture of racing is just a very small part of your life, and you're going to find a lot of gratification outside of that. And I just every time he talks now, I am very tuned in to what he says because I respect him so much, and I respect a guy that fought his entire life to reach the pinnacle and then got to the pinnacle and said, you know what? I don't think this is what I'm meant to do for forever. I think there's something else that is more for me out there. There's I don't know if I could ever have that kind of discipline that Carl has. And it's just, I admire him so much. And, he obviously said some very, very kind words to me after the race. And, it just, it certainly made me feel as though I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in the sport. And everything else from here on out, it's just icing on the cake.
So do you feel that even more now? Because I feel like the last handful of years, you've always preached that, hey, you're not going to win every weekend. You got to find, something more gratifying in life than just winning on Sundays. Like, do you embody that even more after Phoenix?
It's twofold, because before the Phoenix weekend, yes, I relax myself with it's one race. Anything can happen. You just never know. Denny, your shot's 25%. But once you actually run it, and once you actually dominate it, and once you're sitting there and they're counting down 10 to go, 5 to go, 3 to go, you're at that time. And I never got nervous at any point. I was so calm the entire race. I looked at my Whoop
we compared heart rates after the race.
I looked at my Whoop post race. I think my average was like 115, 118. I felt totally at ease, relaxed the entire time. And so, which is why let me get back to my point. It's why, yes, I've always been preaching that the championship is the championship. It's a roll of the dice. And I think last Sunday was a proof. Sometimes it is a roll of the dice, which that's unfortunate. But I'm still allowed to be disappointed when I actually run the race, dominate the race, and then don't get it in the end, right? So I think you can have both. I think you can go in saying that it's been a great year. We made the Final Four. That is the accomplishment in which we sought out at the beginning of the year. It always is for each one of these teams. In the one race format, it is get to Phoenix. Whatever happens after that happens. But it's when you have the race that we had, it's also okay to be very, very disappointed with the result after how the game went for 99.9% of the time.
So I got to ask now, are you going to race next season?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would have begged Joe to let me quit had I won that race. I would have, because it would have just been the perfect way for me to go out. But they're not ready for that yet. They're not, they have to have time to work on my succession plan, and we set a date out now to at least come to when that is. We know what's the lifeline left. But I would have certainly really, really asked him a big favor to let me end on that one had it gone well.
Does the most likely format being changed make it easier to race next year? Or like if you would have raced in this format next year, would it have been harder to like get back in the car and do this again?
Very, very. It doesn't make me want to race right now in this moment anymore. They could say 36 races, which they're not. Everyone just get over it. You're going to get playoffs. But it's still, the offseason is still so fresh. I want nothing to do with racing still right now. I've got to get some more time. I mean, again, I can't wait till December 15th or 18th, whenever that part's done. Because this year, like I said, it's just been so full. Does it make it, more appealing? Yes. For people like myself, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, I think we're all for bigger sample size. I think if I didn't list your name, of course you love the one race playoff, because it rewards mediocrity for the bulk of the season. And it allows you to just, you've never had one ripped out of your hands. You've taken out of people's hands, but you've never had it ripped out. So you don't know what that feels like. You don't know what it's like to dominate a season, and then all of a sudden the format or whatever keeps resetting the score on you, and then finally you end up losing in overtime. Those are the people that are really, really excited about the one race and that we had it. It's because they were able to steal from others. They hadn't had it taken from them. Their 36 weeks of dominating and running well, it's different. Everyone wants different things. I think mediocre people want the smallest sample size as possible. I think that the greats, they want it to give a bigger sample size. And there might be others, by the way. I want to be careful with saying just those names. There are others that do perform well over a large bucket of time. But those are the ones I thought about this year that were top 5. Like Chase Elliott. I left Chase Elliott out. I shouldn't have left Chase out. So make sure the clip that you post, Dirty Mo, is got that correction. He is one of the best at grinding through the season. And while he might not be great, he finds a way to be there week after week after week, which is why he's always a perennial guy inside the top 5 in total points. So, yeah, it's average people want small sample size. Greats wants large.
The final restart, at the same time that Larson was given the go-ahead by his teammate, which Bowman, I don't blame him for doing that. You had Logano kind of blocking you. In that final restart, is that a move where the non-playoff drivers need to not do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Logano at the time, I think he was in the top 5. Before that last caution. So Now, was he contending for the win? No, I think the highest he got was third, maybe fourth throughout the day. But he was in contention. Now, was he making a move? Did he take 2 tires because he thought that would win on the race? Was he just playing protection for Blaney, who was the first car? You know, a lot of times you'll see Penske, what they'll do is they'll have one car take the strategy they think that will win and then have all their teammates just kind of follow in line, knowing that they're likely not going to win, but it allows them to have a little buffer. But I don't know, that far up front, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. If I did, I should have just bumped him out of the way. Surely he would have understood. But again, I didn't know. I didn't know the 5 was ahead of me until it was too late. I thought he was 3 wide top. He said he's boxed in up top. I took that as I'm in good shape.
Yeah, not until the exit of 2 did you really, watching on TV, get some clarity, because that was the case. But then Larson rolls around Bowman, and you kind of get stuck there 3 wide inside of 22. Yeah,
it was a perfect scenario for him, and it was obviously the least favorable for me. I gotta try to pass Logano on the bottom. He's got a teammate in front of him, and he rolls right to the outside of him. So it was just unfortunate circumstances, and it just worked out the way it did.
And that's just also the fascinating part about NASCAR, is that we've got, you've got 40 drivers racing for a win at Phoenix, but then within that, you've got 4 drivers that are racing for a championship,
right?
And all these other cars are just roadblocks,
and
in a sense.
In the final
Speed
race,
bumps.
the points don't matter.
Right.
We have stage breaks with stage points, but for the championship, it doesn't matter because you scored more. But
yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, yeah, you don't see. I don't know. You don't. If it's the Chiefs and the Packers playing the Super Bowl, you don't see someone from the Jacksonville Jaguars out there trying to block a punt. You know what I mean? It's what makes us different. That's what they love to say.
What did your dad say after the race? He was pretty animated beforehand.
Yeah, he was fine. Again, very supportive. He didn't like the outcome, but I think he was still okay with the result.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He said to me, just like a lot of people say, he's like, I don't know what to say. What do you what am I supposed to say? He's like, you had it, you did it. You just don't have the trophy. That's it.
Yeah, I'm sure that was something. I would have liked to see him and Scotty's reaction, or just like what they thought watching that thing.
I've asked to not see it. There is a video from him and Scotty watching the race, but Jordan saw it, but I've told her I'd prefer not to.
Yeah, I got a kick out of him beforehand. And finally telling, knock him out the way. Whatever you got to do, knock him out the way.
Oh, that was on my...
Yeah, before
it was on my reel.
FaceTimed him before the race.
Yeah, I saw that got posted, but I don't know. I guess I didn't stay on it long enough to hear that. You could hear. Oh, he did. Yeah, I knew he said that, but I didn't think y'all would post that part.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That Jared's like, that's the money part.
Yeah. Yeah, just knock him out of the way. God dang it, I wish I would have listened to him. Dads always know best.
Oh, well. Anything else you want to add? You want to ask from this, Travis?
Thanks for introducing me to Ronnie.
Yeah. Yeah, Ronnie's old high school friend. He came all the way out to Phoenix.
And he brought the Chesterfield with him.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
His number one question, I think, before he got there was about carrying his pocket knife through the airport.
He's like the Crocodile Dundee of Virginia. But yeah, something like that. Yeah, it doesn't quite understand the basics. I always say, Ronnie, you got no couth. You got no couth.
AP
He
got
always
him.
says that all the time.
AP got him some Nike shoes to
He
wear at the
peed
track
in a bottle in the back of a rental car
with you
because
Yeah.
he couldn't hold it.
Was that on the way to practice or qualify?
Yeah, he wanted to come to practice or qualify.
It was
I can't-
practice.
It was?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, give me that bottle. I'm like, all right, well, he must have to dip. No, and I look back there, and he's got his wang out, pissing in a damn bottle. He's like, I couldn't hold it no more. It's like, Ronnie, what the f***?
In a way, Ronnie coming to Phoenix felt like Borat. In a way. I mean, I took him.
that is
I,
so
accurate.
accurate.
That's
I took him
good.
home that one of those nights in a Waymo.
Oh my God.
He'd never. I was like, Ronnie, we're gonna take a Waymo home. A what? A Waymo. It's no driver. It's all AI. He couldn't believe it. He was.
I saw the picture of you with him with his video. Like, I'm in a damn car with no person in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was enamored with the highway system and the walls that they have, and
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe the money they spend on these noise walls. Look at the engraving on them. Why don't Virginia do that? So I don't think they have the tax income that Arizona has.
yeah, he didn't like wearing his Nike shoes at the track. He had to wear his boots.
Yeah. That you had to go get new shoes. Had to
did.
buy shoes. It was funny that one of those nights. We were outside watching TV. He was walking back inside and brushed up against a cactus. I was like, God damn, that mother sharp. Like, no shit, Ronnie, it's a cactus.
Oh man, God, that week was fun. It was fun.
It was perfect.
for the whole time. For the whole time. And I'm usually so superstitious about, and I used to be superstitious about, don't talk about this. Don't talk about, no. You never know. I didn't care. You guys were like, well, when we win, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I'm like, sounds good.
I never act
Sounds
that
good.
way. Like, I was confident. I think because you were confident, so I'm usually like the pessimist.
I was very confident. I just knew that I'd done everything that I could. Like, there was nothing else for me to look at. Like, every night, my eyes, you know how you get those halos around all the lights when you're like really, really tired?
Yep.
It's just every night for like the last 2 weeks, I had those halos because I'm like, oh my God, I'm so done looking at a screen. Like, I am cooked. And so, like, the night before the race, like, I didn't look at anything. I just was like, it's all covered. I've had enough time. There's nothing more to look at. So, like, even race day was like, not that much. I had it covered. I had triple looked over everything. So, I was very relaxed and certainly looking forward to the race, and it played out certainly better than I thought. I thought, in practice, I'm like, yeah, we're certainly more competitive than what I've been here in the past in championship races. But then in the race, that gap opened up. We made the proper adjustments.
I appreciate
overnight.
you stopped talking about the clutch during the race, which kind of helped.
It didn't go away.
But you not talking about it, at least I appreciate it, because so I pulled up for the last hour and 19 minutes of the race. My average heart rate was 130, and it peaked at 170.
Wow. I was fine. I don't know about you. I was quite good. But yeah, the clutch was an issue. We got to get that figured out. What was happening is it wasn't it was just a nothing until the very, very bottom. And then it would sort of disengage. So every time coming in the pits, I had to come into the pits differently than what I did before. And then I had to be very, very, very sensitive with how I dropped the clutch on leaving the pit stall, because I was so close to stalling it multiple times, because usually you have that time to, the engine revs up, you pop the clutch, and then you leave. Well, this freaking thing it was all the way at the bottom, and as soon as I would move it a quarter inch, it would disengage. So, like, I had to have my revs all the way up and just ready so I wouldn't stall this thing out. So it paranoid me the entire race.
If you didn't have the first pit box, would have been a bigger issue for you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that would have been the same regardless.
Yeah, you overcame so many. That was one of the beauties of the race, is that it felt like you were tested in so many ways. There was the clutch issue. It's like, oh, here's the mechanical issue that always, bites Denny in the ass in these late seasons. Nope, that was fine. Oh, here's the caution with 30 to go with the 44 who was running, 40th on the day, and they overcame that. And yeah, I just felt like there were so many tests throughout the race that the U and the 11 team passed. Mm-hmm. And at the end, there was just a trick question.
Trav, I was 155 max, 108 average.
Yeah. Sunday. So who raced and who didn't?
Yeah. So my whoop thought I was jumping rope though. It did rise throughout the race though. Like, it's so funny. You can see all the cautions. It rose throughout the race, but I don't know what time the race ended, but you could see, like, as that green flag run, the last green flag run went on.
It's going down.
It just keeps going down because I'm like,
you said you were relaxed.
Yeah, I felt so good about it, and obviously, but at that point, like, my new pet peeve is, like, I hate countdowns. Like, Lambert was doing this probably a few years ago. He'd give me the 15 to go, all right, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm like, no. Just every 5 laps is fine. Mm-hmm. Like, because I just feel like it creates too much of a sense of urgency to me when he's counting every single lap. I just equate it to time. Like, when it was like 20 to go, I'm like, oh man, we're 10 minutes away.
That's what I was doing.
10 minutes. That's it. Just no caution for 10 minutes. And I was surprised to see Byron blow it. I guess he was probably pushing it really, really hard that last run. Because the last run was only 28 laps, something like that. But I did see he was up the racetrack in 1 and 2, searching for speed as I was pulling away. He was doing everything he could to try to get the speed out of his car. So he was probably up there in the fuzz, and more than likely just, got the thing hot.
Yeah. Before we wrap up here and move on from this race, I had tons of messages in my Instagram after this, and I took a few screenshots of a few that I just wanted to read off. This one's from David Irwin. I decided to fly to Phoenix this last weekend from Tulsa to see Denny close it out. If Denny can remember, my son and daughter were one of the last autographs he gave prior to going into the driver's meeting, signed a huge flag. Regardless, this was really what I wanted to share, although I can't even imagine the disappointment he is feeling. There's a silver lining. My son Dawson isn't fully invested in NASCAR at age 11. However, there's a memory this weekend I'll never forget. As laps counted down, I could see my son's excitement and potentially seeing Denny win the race and finally the championship. We were both counting down the laps. We even talked about the race at the airport last night. I will never forget the experience my son and I shared for those 20 plus minutes, and we will discuss that memory until I die. That memory is because of Denny, and I want to thank him for giving that to me. The result wasn't what we wanted, and trust me, I was upset at the airport, but reflecting on last weekend, I will never forget that moment with my son. Hoping you guys eventually do a podcast. It's amazing as well. And then this other one, haven't seen a new Actions Detrimental yet, but just want to send my best. I've been a Denny fan for a while, but this year hit different. I lost my stepmom in June and my grandma in August, both to cancer, so hearing about his dad really hit home. I felt his pain, but I also deeply felt his mission to make those timeless memories before it was too late. I'm even from Vegas, so that 60th win meant a lot, and watching him race on Sundays, carrying the same pain and emotion I was feeling, made those weekends and the grief a little easier. On Sunday, he was perfect. That cutback pass on Byron was one of the most brilliant moves I've ever seen. Then after the race, I think I stared at my TV with the same expression of disbelief as Denny. Absolutely gutted for you guys. Thanks for all the memories and the memories this year. Wishing you and the team the best, and wishing his family the best on a deeper level than racing. All in. So I just thought those were cool.
Yeah.
The community built up this season and beyond.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of fans that have been asking for the podcast is unreal.
Yeah, well, I appreciate everyone be patient on that.
And all the fans were there, like, we understand.
Yeah, I think this was the earliest I could have done it. I mean, I could have done it, but this one might have seemed, if you're not a fan of mine, might have seemed bitter. Apologies if it did. I think I have a right to be. But I needed some time to kind of let things cool down and certainly be a little more at peace with it. Still don't like it, but you can't change the result. So we all got to just move on from it. And I appreciate the support, especially, some of the feedback that you were reading there. Certainly means a lot to me. A lot of that is very similar to what I heard from that family in that restaurant. That certainly made me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, I think everyone is feeling that, and this podcast is probably a bit of a, I don't know, just probably helps emotionally for any of those fans who are still harboring any disappointment or dissatisfaction with NASCAR after that race.
Yeah, that's it. The November 14th, we're 2 weeks from a trial. January 1st is not far away. And that's where we turn the page and put 2025 behind us.
Yeah, and then start 2026.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess before we close out here, congratulations to Corey Heim and Jesse Love.
Yeah. I saw Connor Zilic. At a before Larson's championship party. I met Connor and Jesse at this place, and I was talking with Connor, and I said, "Man," he's like, "Man, God, that sucked. Like I feel your pain." I says, "Yeah, you do." I says, "Imagine going through that 20 times. You swung and missed on your first. Imagine doing it for 20 years in a row like that." But listen, it's, we all, you got to play the game, and Jesse Love and his team, Danny Stockman, they brought the best car and the best driver on that day. They did it, and certainly are deserving. And, obviously Corey Heim, very deserving of his championship as well. I loved Jesse Love's, banquet speech. I thought he did a really, really good job there. Talking about his family and how, it certainly made it more connection to me. And when he talked about his dad and whatnot. And so it was good to see those guys. I'm big fans of all those guys. And I wish everyone happy holidays, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Outside of what we all know you have going on in the next couple of weeks, do you have anything fun planned?
No, not yet. No, just, with the trial taking up most of December, and then you got Christmas, like, where do you squeeze it in? Like, I hate vacations, but I need one really, really, really bad. So I don't know. I'm going to try to squeeze in maybe 3 days, sometimes between now and December 1st. That's what I would like to happen. But if not, then I got to try to figure out when it all can happen. But obviously the trial will take up most of that.
I was glad to see the Christmas decorators out here this morning when I pulled in, because I put up my Christmas tree last Sunday. So it makes me feel good that...
Yeah, they're just working on the outside. No Christmas trees go up until after. Well, I think that's probably wrong. They're probably going to have it up. It's a process. It takes a couple, 10 days to get all the outdoor stuff.
Jesus.
Well, it's just, it's just built up over time. So you accumulate all this stuff, and they come in, they put it all up, and they got they got this big ladder truck that takes the lights way up to the top of the trees. We like to live in the Christmas spirit around here on the outside.
Yeah. But I asked you this when we started the show. Any birthday plans? Your birthday is in, 4 days now?
Nope. No birthday plans, which I appreciate.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Trav, update us on OSU. Kind of, obviously it's been a great season, but when's the first game that we're planning to attend? I said we are planning to attend.
Well, we had UCLA this weekend. We're not doing that. Then there's Rutgers the following, which is before Thanksgiving. Nah. And then
But don't you get a home playoff game?
hopefully no.
Hopefully you have a bye.
So then we have the team up north the Saturday of Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Then the following Saturday is the Big Ten Championship game in Indy.
Should we go into enemy territories?
I mean,
I don't know if I can be around.
I was like, that could be probably be like.
I know.
It'd be
just
fun,
can't
but man,
trust-
it could be bad.
I don't know if I could trust you
I don't disagree.
get us in a fight.
No, well, I'm not the fighting type.
Yeah, but Travis, you push people. I think you've just been really, really lucky not to meet the person that wants to fight.
But I'm not in person. I'm not. Now, I still think it's probably not smart to go up there because even if you lose, then you want to leave. But if you win, where do you go? Because you're just in their backyard. Like you can't really celebrate.
Well, I think Jordan Brand has a suite there, but I'm not sure they're going to let us wear OSU stuff. So that's probably off limits.
Well, tell those lawyers they get one more loss before they can get all their victories in. Right. But then we get the Big Ten Championship in Indy.
Oh, okay, well, let's go to that.
Well, there's a slight schedule issue for you. You have a Christmas party for 2311.
Oh, well, then that's during the trial anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like I think it's like
Unless it's a weekend.
it's a Saturday, but it's in between week 1 and week 2 of the trial.
Well, I could go Friday after court. I could go, and then
you gonna skip the Christmas 2311 Christmas party.
Oh yeah, son of a gun.
And then if we got the bye, we'd have to go to the Rose Bowl, which is in Pasadena.
Holy cow!
So, but here's the deal: we just go to the semifinal game, the championship
He's
game.
already planning on. Where's that at?
I think championship game's in Miami.
No, the semifinal.
I think we'd go to maybe Atlanta.
Oh, that'd be nice. Somewhere close. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. All right, we'll figure it out. How about y'all? What are y'all gonna do for the next 2 months?
Thanksgiving here coming up. I'm going to go back to New Jersey and visit some family. And then in December, taking a little trip over to Europe, the Netherlands and Belgium,
Wow.
Amsterdam, and a bunch of cities over there.
Fun.
I don't have those fun plans scheduled.
You gonna drink some beer?
Go home for Thanksgiving, watch some football, drink.
All right. Well, if that's it, then that's it.